This WeatherScope is sponsored by the new Zip built-in drive from iOmega. Get one in your next computer.
This is WeatherScope.
Thanks for joining us this evening. Jill Brown and Janetta Jones with you here. And things have calmed down in Florida, maybe not for long, but at the same time, now we're seeing some thunderstorms in Ohio.
Yeah, and maybe even some flooding in Ohio and Pennsylvania. We're going to show you those radars in just a moment. Right now, let's look at the satellite vantage point as it goes into motion. I want to remind everyone that we've still been seeing some strong gusty winds in the northern plains, and the snow continues. I don't know, I think it's 4 days in a row now. We have seen blizzard conditions in places like North Dakota and South Dakota. It is letting up. It's going to be much better for you tomorrow. However, tonight is a different story. So if you don't have to venture out, it's probably a good idea not to. We also have another upper low that's moving through this particular region, giving us the showers and the thunder showers in Ohio and Pennsylvania and the heavier downpours. Now we take you into the upper Midwest and the northern plains where we've seen all kinds of problems. We're not kidding here, folks. Snow drifts up to 15 feet in some locations. That is amazing. So even though I-90 has not been shut down totally, it's still very ice-packed and very snow-packed, so travel at your own risk, so to speak. Make sure you have that winter survival kit in the car. Temperatures, I want to show you this because we don't really have that much in the way of Arctic air across this region, but it is cold. It's colder than it has been, and when you factor in those winds, it feels awfully cold out there. It feels like 6 below in Sioux Falls, feels like 14 below in Minot, and 9 below in Bismarck, and we have seen some snowfall throughout the day for you folks in Bismarck and Minot. And when you've got 30, 40 inches of snow on the ground, additional snow is a big deal. You don't need any more. Minneapolis has seen some on again, off again snow. We've seen the snow extending on down towards the Des Moines, Iowa. Chicago has seen some on again, off again showers, so if you're venturing out tonight for an evening on the town, take your umbrella. Could see some rain, and that could be the case into lower Michigan as well. Into Cleveland, we have some problems for you around that general area. In fact, we have in Huron County a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next 30 minutes or so, and we also have Lorain County a flood warning for urban areas and small stream regions effective until 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Also take note, in Pennsylvania we have the potential for some flooding in northeastern Pennsylvania around Bradford County. So that's what's happening there. Showers extending on into parts of western New York State, and some showers and heavier downpours moving on through Atlantic City on towards New York City. So you may see some slick roadways there for your little drive into town, into Manhattan, or from the Bronx into Long Island Sound. Chance for some scattered showers. Hit and miss. It's not going to be anything too terrible. 38 in Boston, 46 in New York City, and 52 in Philly, about 57 in Washington, D.C. So rain moving through the northeast, could be heavy at times in Cleveland, back towards Bradford, and of course the snow and the blizzard conditions across the northern plains. That's what's happening here. What about the rest of the country? Here's Jill.
Okay, thanks, Janetta. Just last Monday, people in central Florida suffered through severe storms and tornadoes. More storms hit Florida this afternoon. Fortunately, they were not as intense as earlier this week, but they were still somewhat dangerous. Thunderstorms moved through Pasco County just north of Tampa just before noon. Heavy rain, wind, and pea-sized hail accompanied the storms. That made travel on State Roads 52 and 41 slow-going with reduced visibility. We had a number of reports of damage across the state, from quarter-size hail to downed power lines. Even one funnel cloud was sighted in Kissimmee, but we had no reports of tornadoes. And of course, the funnel cloud is just a tornado that hasn't reached the ground. We did not think things were favorable for tornadoes today, and so far so good. As a matter of fact, things are nice and quiet really for the moment in Florida. You can see we have some rain off either side, but in Tampa we had one more batch come through. That diminished over Interstate 4, and maybe has brought a few sprinkles to you in Orlando, but it's not too bad. We have to keep watching what's going on here, and you can see obviously our radar coverage extends just so far. But there are some showers and thunder showers developing, we do believe. We also have a few thunder showers around West Palm down toward Boca Raton that are trying to get out of here. We have to keep an eye on what's developing over the Gulf of Mexico. This could mean, as you head out for your Friday evening, that before you come home, you get rained on. So check the radar before you head out, or just take an umbrella with you and be prepared. Could get a little bit stormy, but once again, we're not really expecting severe weather. Otherwise, it's really been a nice day across the south. Look how mild the temperatures are. 59 in Dallas. Your temperatures hardly budged. Good day to be out at the zoo. And folks did just that. Take a look at the scenes from Dallas, and you see a bright sunny day. Perfect weather, right on target temperature-wise, with temperatures in the low 60s. And we think it'll be just about as nice tomorrow. While parts of the south are going to turn quite cold, and we may even be talking snow by the first part of the work week. At least we're getting through the weekend in good shape. Keep in mind, with clear skies tonight, it will get cold, and many of the trees have begun to bud. And if that's the case where you live, there's a possibility of a freeze tonight, so you might want to get out and cover up what you can if you want to hang on to it. Farther west, it was just as nice in California. Certainly good to see nice, quiet, dry weather, and that's what we had today. The rain has been farther north. Snow elevations are dropping tonight, so maybe 47 in Seattle, but at Stampede Pass, it's cold enough for some snow, and snow elevations will come to about 2,000 feet. We think through tomorrow, most of the rain stays in the Pacific Northwest. By Monday, well, it could be a different story. Let's talk about your forecast for Sunday, though, now with Janetta.
All right, later on this afternoon and tonight, we're going to see the chance for showers on across the northeast. The snow continues and the wind continues across the northern plains, and we'll see the showers across the northwest. By tomorrow morning, those showers in the northwest are still going to be hanging around, but we don't expect anything heavy. We're still seeing some light snow for you folks in the Dakotas and Nebraska and Iowa and Minnesota, but we're hoping that the blizzard conditions will be pretty much over. Into the northeast, we're going to see some scattered showers here from upstate New York on into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So as you're venturing out to run your errands, go to church, that kind of thing, you may encounter some slick roadways from Boston on back towards Providence. And Florida could be in for some more showers, maybe even some thunder showers, as that new low is going to be interacting with our old frontal boundary. So we could see some heavy downpours for you folks. Look for about 3 to 6 inch accumulations with the snow before all is said and done. And temperatures, like Joel was saying, going to be cool, a lot cooler than we have been used to. So get out the blanket. I know you probably put it away in your closet already, but you need it again for the next few days.
Yes, we certainly will, and maybe talking snow. But for tonight, one of the biggest problems will be the rain, especially around the Cleveland area. We'll update you on that on TravelWise.
Coming up next, stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are flying in the Bermuda Triangle, a place where things are known to disappear and are never found. Now, fortunately, we have an I-Omega zip drive on board, and with it I can make a quick copy of all my important stuff. The 100 megabyte zip disk let me save, store, and take all my stuff with me. No need to panic. Okay, boys, let's take her back in. Hello?
Get an I-Omega zip drive today because it's your stuff.
I work for a dermatologist, so I see what people go through with psoriasis and eczema. That's why I'm excited about the latest therapy from Cordate. Cordate Intensive Therapy. In preference tests, it was chosen over Cortisone 10. Cordate Intensive Therapy has the most powerful medicine you can buy to stop the itch and help you...
WeatherScope is sponsored by Midas Auto Systems Experts. What can we do for you today?
This is WeatherScope.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Joel Brown and Janetta Jones with you here. We had some rough weather in Florida earlier and perhaps a few more storms trying to sneak back in, so I'll take a look at that in just a moment. In the meantime, they're not sneaking around. We have thunderstorms that are developing everywhere across Ohio and Pennsylvania.
And we're going to take a look at that on radar in just a moment. Also want to remind you, we've had blizzard conditions again today in the northern plains. Look at this satellite vantage point. That low continues to swirl across the Dakotas and Minnesota, and I think this is the third or fourth day in a row that we have seen winds gusting 40, even 50 miles per hour. You know there's already about 40 inches of snow on the ground, in some locations over 48 inches of snow on the ground. So even if it was not snowing, that would still be blowing and drifting all of that snow around. We've had reports of snow drifts up to 15 feet, so that is a nightmare if you can imagine at all. And we've had reports of road closures. A lot of the roads are open, but they're so ice-packed and snow-packed that it's just very, very difficult to get around. Officials are saying make sure you have a winter survival kit in the car with you if you have to venture out for an emergency or that kind of thing. We still have had some blizzard warnings in effect throughout the day, but things should be letting up a bit, and tomorrow should be a better day, although we still have snow in the forecast for you. I want to show you the temperatures across this region. It's not brutally cold. We have seen colder, certainly, but it's been a very mild winter for you folks. You're not quite accustomed to these temperatures for this season, and look at the wind chills. They are pretty nasty. 17 below right now in Rapid City. Feels like 14 below in Bismarck. Feels like 6 below in Sioux Falls. Well, that's pretty bad. 18 in Minneapolis, and you have seen some scattered snow showers throughout the day today, so drive safely out there if you're going out to dinner and a movie. We see the possibility of snow on back towards Huron and Bismarck and Grand Forks. Boy, no letting up. A good weekend just to stay inside, huh? We've seen some scattered showers for you in Chicago, so it's going to be a kind of a cold, wet, raw evening for you in the metro area. And here are the storms that are popping up in and around the Cleveland metro area. We have seen some severe thunderstorm warnings. We've also seen some flood warnings for urban and small stream areas. So keep that in mind around Huron County in Ohio and also Lorain County. We head a little farther to the east and we'll show you some showers into Bradford, Pennsylvania, and also a little farther to the east, some embedded pockets of heavier rainfall here. So be extra careful if you're out this evening doing some traveling or just going out to dinner or to meet with some friends, because we are going to see some showers on again, off again through the New York City metro area, through the boroughs, and we'll see some rain extending on back through Philly and back towards Washington, D.C. The Beltway getting a little bit slick this evening right around the dinner hour. So we have our area of low pressure that's moving through this region, and we've seen some scattered thunder showers across the northeast. Don't be surprised if you see that later on tonight. 44 in New York City, 38 in Boston as the temperature continues to lower. We're looking at 40 in Burlington, Vermont. So in the east, an upper low moving through, giving us some showers and some heavier downpours, and obviously the snow and the wind, a big problem in the northern plains. Now here's Jill with a look at the rest of the country.
Okay, thanks, Janetta. Just last Monday, people in central Florida suffered through severe storms and tornadoes. More storms hit Florida this afternoon. Now, fortunately, they were not as intense as earlier this week, but they did cause some problems. Thunderstorms moved through Pasco County just north of Tampa just before noon. Heavy rain, wind, and pea-sized hail accompanied the storms, and that made it a little slow going on Route 52 and 41. We had numerous reports of damage through the afternoon from the Tampa area on over to the East Coast, where some power lines were knocked down, trees down on one car. We had up to quarter-sized hail. Makes things look pretty good right now, doesn't it? This is Pasco County right here, so nice and dry for now, but more showers and thunder showers out over the Gulf could be moving in with time. So before you head out this Friday evening, keep that in mind. You can check the radar right before you leave. We'll be checking it frequently, or you can just take an umbrella with you and be prepared. Looks like some rain developing just south of Tallahassee. We've also had these thunderstorms finally diminishing somewhat slowly on Interstate 95. You're going to run into some heavy downpours. Looks like it's for the most part gone around Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, and evening out at South Beach should be fine. However, down toward Key West, we have heavy rain reported. You can see these thunderstorms lifting northward, and there's a special marine advisory in effect. Gusty winds possible, of course, the heavy rain, and you can see the recent lightning strikes here. We also can pick out a lot of thunderstorms developing over the central Gulf, and a little disturbance, we think, is creating these thunderstorms, our second batch of the day, and they could move in with time. Now, once the sun sets, and that's, of course, happening now, that's going to help calm things down a little bit, and we won't have the heating of the day to help fuel the thunderstorms. So they shouldn't be too intense tonight, but we'll get some rain. Otherwise, across the south, pretty nice quiet day. Temperatures were really very nice, from 73 in Charleston at this hour to 62 in Houston. Dallas 56 is pretty nice today. Take a look at scenes from Dallas. Folks got out and about. Nice Saturday afternoon activity. Head out to the zoo. Temperature peaked around 60, and that is right on target for this time of year. Should be as nice tomorrow, so if you didn't get a chance to get out today, then you can certainly get in some outdoor activities tomorrow. However, keep in mind, if those will be early activities, it will be cold. As a matter of fact, the trees have started to bud, and that is why it freezes.
Is sponsored by Midas Auto Systems Experts.